all the important ideas that Imam would call for and Imam would try to establish are universal and are understood and appreciated by all human beings. I think, and please everyone pay attention, I think it would be a failure on our side if we introduce the aims and ideals of Imam Mahdi in the way that would not draw the sympathy and appreciation of humanity. If we introduce in the way that we can only attract the Shia or maximum the Muslims, I think we have failed. Because Imam himself is going to win the hearts of masses. Imam is going to become the savior and the leader of humanity, not just the Shia or the Muslims. So we have to have the same understanding that Imam himself has of his mission. Any idea to project it as a sectarian movement or revolution or just as Islamic movement, I think is a failure. You have to be able to present it in the way that all people of goodwill, whether they are Eastern or Western, whether they are Muslims or non-Muslim, all people would appreciate and would aspire to. I mentioned some of the things that Imam, inshallah, would establish, and as you will see, these are the things that are appreciated by all human beings. First of all, first in his agenda is to establish justice. This is very obvious. In many hadiths narrated by Shia and Sunni scholars, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is quoted as saying, يَمْلَأُ اللَّهُ بِهِ الْأَرْضَ قِسْطًا وَعَدْلًا بَعْدَمَا مُلِئَتْ ظُلْمًا وَجَوْرًا, or كَمَا مُلِئَتْ ظُلْمًا وَجَوْرًا. This is very obvious, so frequently narrated that no one is able to question it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through him and by using him, would fill the earth with justice and equity after being filled with injustice and lack of equity, lack of fair and equal distributions of the good. This is very important in the mission of Imam. Justice, first of all, starts within oneself. Zalamtu nafsi, as we say in Dua Kumail, I have been unjust to myself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Man yata'adda hudud Allah faqad zalama nafsahu. Whoever transgresses the boundaries of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been unjust to himself. Indeed, I believe that even when you are unjust to people, still you are first of all unjust to yourself. You have to be just to yourself, you have to be just to your family members, with your husband, your wife, your children, especially wife and children. There is a beautiful hadith. Imam Kazim alayhi salam said, إِذَا وَعَدْتُمُ السَّبْيَانَ فَفُّوا لَهُمْ. If you promise your children something, keep your promise. Don't say this is a child, is not going to take me to the court. No, even if it is a child, you must keep your promise. And then, إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ لَيْسَ يَغْضِبُ لِشَيْءٍ كَغَضَبِهِ لِلنِّسَاءِ وَالصِّبْيَانِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never gets angry with someone like the one that has mistreated women or children. But if we are good Muslims, we must be the first runners in this campaign for observing the rights of women and the children. Of course, the rights which are recognized by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the rational people. And then this extends to your neighbors. You have to be observing the rights of your neighbor, your colleagues, your partners. When you drive, you have to be again observing the rights of other drivers. You know, sometimes when we drive, we lose our mercy. We drive in a way that we don't want any other person, you know, to have his right. And then it extends even to the enemies. Even with respect to your enemies, you have to be just. Observing justice is the closest thing to taqwa. So if you observe justice, you are in the closest position to taqwa. It is not just a ritual, it's not just an action, it's a quality, it's a virtue. So when Imam Mahdi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif comes, who would be able to support him? Who would be able to help him? The people who have already established justice among themselves and even with respect to their enemies. Is Imam going to ask you to do something for him when he knows that you are a person who is not going to observe justice? No. Would Imam let you to damage the reputation of his revolution? Would Imam accept anyone under his flag be unjust? No. So this is an exercise for us. We have to establish this among ourselves. There is much more to be said about justice, but my time is short, so I move on to something else which I think unfortunately is not that much emphasized on, and that is mercy. One of the major achievements of Imam Mahdi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif is that he would establish mercy on the earth. I am sad to hear that sometimes some lecturers, some speakers, when they talk about Imam Zaman, they speak in the way that Imam is going to come and show anger and wrath and show no mercy. This is not the case. Imam is going to show maximum mercy. Imam is going to represent Rahmatan Lil Alamin once again. Imam Zaman is Rahmatan Lil Alamin. And this is what Allah is saying to the Prophet. I complete this line of imamate by the son of the 11th Imam, whose name is the name of the Prophet, and his mission is like the Prophet, Rahmatan Lil Alamin. And we have many hadiths that Imam Mahdi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif would follow the sunnah of the Prophet. If the Prophet was sent as Rahmah Lil Alamin, if the Quran is sent as Rahmah, so how can Imam Zaman be not Rahmah? It's impossible. And there are many other hadiths which can help us to come to this conclusion. For example, Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, one of Sunni scholars, in his book As-Sawa'iq al-Muhraka, when he talks about al-Mahdi, because even our Sunni brothers believe in Imam Mahdi, they don't believe necessarily that he is born. Some of them say he's born, some say he's not yet born. They may not believe that he's the son of Imam Askari, but they believe in Mahdi and they believe he's a progeny of Lady Fatima, he's from Quraysh. Ibn Hajar says that Mahdi is the one that the people of heaven and the people of earth would be pleased with him. I have one question. Is there anything other than mercy and love that can please people? Can you please people by shouting at them? The only thing that can please people is to show them some kindness and love and mercy. You try it even with your children. The children are from you, but if you don't show love to them, they don't be pleased. They will not be pleased. Imam would so much show love to people that people would be pleased. Another thing which would be established by Imam is security, peace. You may say, Maulana, this is only for the believers. Those who don't believe would not have peace. I say no. This peace would be universal, because even the animals would have peace. Even a wild animal and a domestic animal will live together peacefully. The hadith says roads would be safe. You can travel in the dark of the night and be not bothered by anyone. An old lady can travel from one part of the world to the another part of the world without being harassed. Absolute peace and security and safety. And the other thing, in addition to justice, mercy, and peace, is brotherhood and friendship. Imam Baqir alayhi salam said, when the upriser, when Al-Qaim Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif comes, complete friendship would be established, to the extent that when a brother needs some money, a brother in faith needs some money. In the time of Imam Mahdi, he can go and take money from the pocket of his brother, and his brother would not stop him. These are the things that Imam is going to achieve: justice, mercy, peace and security, brotherhood, and friendship. Now you tell me, who is the one in the world who doesn't love these things? Who is not in the world who's thinking that these are the most important things that we need? If you go any place in the world and you ask people, make a questionnaire and go and ask, what are the 5 most important things that we lack today in the world so that we can have a happy life? Go and ask. I don't think anyone would disagree that justice, security, friendship, love, mercy. So if we introduce the idea of Mahdi in this way and practice it ourselves, not that I say something and I do something else. So I say Imam is going to establish this, and come and look at our community. Come to Qom, come to Karachi, come to London, come to any Shia community and see we observe this. Who would be able to resist against attraction which comes from the teachings of Ahlul Bayt? I don't think you'll find anyone be able to resist against this. We must make sure that inshallah we are so corrected and so good that Imam would be happy with us.